I know when my girl's swimming because we run it awesome here. And I will go show property. I will have an agent pop in so I can go watch my kids swim, because it matters when she looks up in the stand that her mom is there cheering her on.
Yeah.
Forever. And I never want my kids to look back and go, Mom was physically present, but she was not mentally there with me.
Welcome back to Life at 1010, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. My name is Garrett Fry. I've got Matt Benelli with me, and we have a special guest again with us today. And I want to announce Ada Handley. She's with Rosenblum Realty in Huntsville, Alabama, and I am super excited to have you on. Ada, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Great.
We're doing great. We're doing great. I'm excited to have you on, and we're going to go down some fun paths today. Ada is an amazing real estate broker, again, in Huntsville, Alabama. She has, you juggle so many things in your life. I coach Ada. I do have the privilege of being able to see inside of her business, inside of her world. And the more I've learned about Ada in the time of coaching her, I'm like, we need to have you on the podcast, because not only are you running an amazing real estate business that has doubled every year since you have been doing this business. So you got 6 years in the business, but you're also a mom. Not only 4 girls. Oh my gosh. So we got 4 girls, homeschooling all of them, as well as managing a child that is on a competitive sports level where you're traveling with her for swimming and staying on point with that. And then just to throw on top of it, you like to make your own bread and grind your own grain, which I just think is just, why not?
It's fun. It's loud.
And in these past few years, too, you've also gone through a house renovation where you had to move somewhere else for the time while that was being renovated. And Ada, so excited for you to be here to share the story behind how you also manage these things, because as much as we'd like this to be like, hey, Ada is incredible, and you are, it's also, you've mastered the ability to commit to certain habits that can help build sustainability over time versus just trying to do it all at once out of the gate, which I think is so amazing and a wonderful lesson that everybody can learn. So excited to have you here, Ada.
Thank you both so much.
So Ada, let's kick this off, because obviously you got into real estate 6 years ago. Let's build a little background here for you. What made you get into real estate? What was the moment that you're like, real estate is my path. I want to do this. I want to do this full time. I'm going in.
So I went in kicking and screaming. My husband, we had bought some land, and he was like, hey, this guy is leaving his full-time engineer job, and if he can sell real estate, so can you. And I was like, homeschool mom, raising 4 kids, military wife, so you're gone half the time, right? We have a delightful relationship, but it was one of those, I was angry about it a little bit, and he was like, give it 2 years. And so if you give me a challenge, I rise to it. And I think when I look back, that anger wasn't really anger. It was, can I actually add more to my plate? Can I still love my kids and be the intentional mom I want to be, and also be learning in so many different capacities? Fast forward, that answer is yes. We're now at 6 years and not 2. And I fell in love with taking care of people. I wanted to be a nurse growing up. Some health issues made that not a great path for me. And the beauty of getting to walk people through real estate transactions and to be with them on the highest of highs and the lowest of lows and be intentional when this world is so transactional, was actually like the best gift. And I love that my girls get to see me running this huge business, taking time to better myself, be a lifelong learner. And I mean, they join me. I'm actually, one of my girls right now is an assistant to one of my best friends in real estate, and it's rocking her world. And my girl is getting to watch. This is how you leverage and buy back time and make the life of your dreams come true. It's delightful.
Well, and it's interesting, as you said, this element of taking care of people was one of the reasons that you're like, okay, like nursing or healthcare, or like all of a sudden applying this into real estate and building a referral relationship business, which is what your business is. I mean, that's what you have built here. That is a key element that has to be there. I feel the ones that I have watched that have built incredible referral relationship businesses, if you don't have that energy, that's like, I want to take care of people, I want to see the best for the people that are around me, you're building your referral relationship business for the wrong reason. And I think that just comes out of you, Ada. I watch that all the time, of your heart wanting to take care of the people that are around you. And it works well.
Thank you.
So I think it's also important, as we kind of early get into this and we're talking, everybody's going, okay, great. Mom, homeschool, business. She's just got it all working and it's all easy. We're going to talk about today that there are moments of, what in the world am I doing? Is this realistic? Is this something that am I still able to give the best to my kids? Yes, I've got this great business, but am I giving my best to my people? And am I taking care of myself, or am I burning myself out? And this is a real struggle and juggling act that a lot of people go through. And I just want to, kind of put that on the table here. And let's talk about this real quick, that you struggle with that. I mean, we all do, and it's a reality that happens for some people.
I think the biggest, just so you know, Garrett and I have an exit plan. If I ever say, hey, I need to go to a referral basis only, that plan is built and it's sitting off to the side. And that gives me such peace to know that. There are weeks that I suck as a mom, and thankfully it's not a full week usually, but I'm not connecting in a way with my kids that matters for eternity. And that is, I'm thankful for the coaching I have. Y'all's Life at 10/10ths group, oh my goodness, blows my mind away all the time with just the collaboration. And it's been talked about everywhere. Like, if you go 1% in the wrong direction, how far you go. And if you're going 1% in the right direction, that gap gets really, really big. And I love how coaching helps me right that ship before I just go off on the deep end. I do. Like, it's a hard balance to choose. I'm going to be with my people. When I'm home with my kids, I'm home with my kids. I'm doing some work sometimes. They know it. It's fine. When I'm with my clients, if they call me twice, or if I know my teenager is driving, I'm answering the phone. Outside of that, mom's at work, call your dad. And it's a gift to get to balance well. I've had to mostly give up alcohol and choose to realize, hey, this isn't something that allows me to sleep the way that I need to sleep. I don't associate with realtors usually. I spend time away from my family with my clients. There are rare occasions, but I'm not going out to lunch with everybody. Even though I want to, I'm going to go pick a trail and hike with my kids. And hey, I'm going to invite this client that also loves to get outdoors and just relocated. Let's go hit a trail. Let's talk and grow deep in relationship with each other there. I don't know that I'm answering your questions well.
You are. And one of the things that you said a second ago was, when we built this exit strategy, or at least a backup, I said, you got to have a plan B. You can't just look at this as I'm all in or I'm all out. And when you say even an exit strategy, it's just a way to alleviate the stress when the stress levels come up. So you have a spot where you can go, okay, currently right now, my kids need me. I also have a client that needs my help. Here's the situation. My kids are going to win in this one, and I'm going to make sure that this client also gets taken care of. And I remember when we set that up for you, it was in that moment of a breaking point for you. And it was that place that all of a sudden you were like, oh, there is another option here. It's not just I can be a realtor or be a mom. There's this place now I have to go. It was great to be able to see you when all of a sudden you had the clarity around that, to be like, okay, I have a strategy now.
Can we talk about that? Because it sounds like, this pressure relief valve, I'm going to call it, right? Yeah. Versus a backup strategy, because it's something that's always there, that is almost like it's a safety system on something that's running really well. So what went into building that? And how does that operate for you so that you have it available? Because I would imagine that works really well with just how you run your business. It's just basically pulling a lever or routing something in a different direction. So tell us a little bit about how that's set up and how it works.
So last year I started bringing on a buyer's agent to help me when I got flooded with buyers. FYI, summer is my sweet spot. We swim. We've got summer swim here that's crazy and awesome and wonderful. And I intentionally backed up the month of June, knowing that August was going to be quiet because I wasn't doing all the things. And I chose it intentionally. So when August got here, I was not freaking out, which was such a gift. But it looks like bringing in not a brand new agent. It's somebody who knows what they're doing to help guide that buyer who needs to look at 50 houses. That's really hard for me. It's not from a control space. It's from FOMO, y'all. Like, I love my people so much. But that's what it looks like. Garrett helped me walk through, hey, you can find an agent that you refer business out to for a season, for years, if that season is long. And it is a gift to just have, and it was a pressure relief valve, Matt. It's the same, it's the best description to know when life hits. I have a senior next year, y'all. I'm going to be there for my clients. My clients also know, like, if we have a swim meet weekend in town, I know when my girl's swimming because we run it awesome here. And I will go show property. I will have an agent pop in so I can go watch my kids swim, because it matters when she looks up in the stand that her mom is there cheering her on.
Yeah.
Forever. And I never want my kids to look back and go, Mom was physically present, but she was not mentally there with me.
I remember having that conversation with you because, like, when the kids are swimmers and they finish their lap, they finish their run, all of a sudden they pop out of the water and the first thing they do is they look around for their people. Like, was Mom watching me? And I remember talking with you on the soccer field with my kid when Celeste was playing soccer or Jocelyn at dance. They're always trying to look around for their parents and their special people that are like, Celeste would do something great on the field and she would look right up, usually at me, mostly at her grandpa, to be like, you know, are my people here? Are they paying attention? Are they watching? And it's an important thing. I love that you realize the power of that and being there for those girls, because those are their memories. That's the stuff that they're going to carry with them for the rest of their life, is that moment that they pop their head out of the water and look over and there's Mom standing there cheering them on. So I love that you've made that a priority. At the same time, your care and concern for people at such a high level. I remember talking with you, and it's a struggle I think a lot of people run into around this pressure relief valve. I love this name of it, Matt. Well done. Matt's great at naming stuff. Yeah, the things will happen, and he's like, "That's what we're calling that." I think
That's
what's
coming
interesting
from
is
automotive business and needing to have safety things. So yeah, there's history there.
But there's a reason you named your company what you did. That's great.
in that element of where a lot of people run into the roadblock is they go, but those realtors can't take care of my people the way I want them taken care of. And that ability of letting go and knowing that there's other good agents out there that are going to do a great job and are going to take care of their people. How did you get past that? How did you all of a sudden say, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it maybe not being me and them getting this other agent? Was it the level that agent was playing at, or was it you coming to a place of like, this is how I'm going to be able to make this work?
So I'm working to get there still. Let's be like, because, and I think it's the FOMO side. When I've brought people in, I'm still very much, we're all in a group chat together. I'm still making my customer service calls to that client weekly. I'm not stepping away. There will come a time in which I need to hand something off. And it's the caliber of agent. They're a ninja, not only in name, but in the way they live their life and in the way they live their business. So it's taking some time. It's a self thing. And I know that, but I know as I've surrounded myself with masters, right? Mastery, love that thing. I'm learning to let go. I'm learning to bring in early. You know, when I have a client that I'm going to bring help in on, they're introduced at a buyer consultation, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. It is not a surprise that they're there. One of my biggest pieces too that I didn't think I needed yet was a transaction coordinator. And the moment I hired Sweet Michelle, it was like I lifted 100-pound weighted vest off my chest. I was no longer waking up going, oh, did I schedule that termite inspection or anything like that? And because she was a pro at what she did, I was able to submit to her processes in a beautiful way and see that she showed up for my clients in a way that I couldn't always. I can't answer every question in 10 seconds. Michelle can. But I think it comes in the way of how you introduce it. Am I handing you off and I'm just going to take a little money off of it? Or am I still walking you through? Are we still walking in relationship with each other 5 and 10 years down the road? I have been blessed to do more high dollar transactions. And so even in my highest year, my number of transactions was about 26 or 27.
That's still a lot.
But my average price is in the 400 to 500s.
Yeah.
So and that has been my goal all the time. Matt, you helped me wordsmith an affirmation years ago that I go back to often because it gives life, and I've watched it work over and over again. And so leaning into my mindset and how I can control that, how I set up with my clients, because I'm a military spouse, I speak military really well. When I have generals coming in, I know that they want the short and the sweet. They want a plan, and they want us to stick to the plan. In June, I have a family coming down the same week that we have cheer camp. That's another hat I wear. I assistant coach cheerleaders. I have 2 of them on the team. It's delightful. I love teenagers so much, and it's worth it to me to show up in that space and be a part of their world. I prepped my clients ahead of time. Hey, this has come up. How are we going to navigate this week? And they were like, well, we'll shift a day. And I said, these 2 days, I've got to be fully present at your practice. These days, I can be fully present with you. And what I've learned is people are excited when you have boundaries in your life. They trust you to show up with them because they watch you show up for yourself.
I think that's a hallmark of a good business model, whether it's for a real estate agent or any other business. When you know there are boundaries in going in, but they have a process, it's like, oh, there's a different level of respect that goes there, right? And this is, Garrett, you and I have harped on this for years of like, if you're going away on vacation or things like this, do not wait until the last minute to tell your clients. Don't hope that property won't come on the market while you're away for the weekend and all of a sudden you're like, hey, sorry, I'm actually in Cabo, so I'm going to set you up with John over here to see it, instead of just being upfront about it, which is awesome. And Ada, it sounds like process and systems have been a key element in your success. And I want to go back to like year 2 and 3, right? Because doubling the business year over year over year is incredible. But those first few years of doing that, the results don't seem amazing, right? You know, once you're getting into that compounding on year 4, year 5, and now year 6, like, okay, this is awesome. But I got to imagine, you know, your husband's like, hey, give it 2 years. You fell in love with the idea of this job and helping and serving people. But I'm sure you're looking at the results after year 2, like, man, is this worth it as well? So, and you talked about affirmations. So what were the mindset things you did, the habits that you built when the money wasn't really rolling in yet, but you were like, hey, this is going to work long term? A lot of people give up after a few years, but you stayed into it. So what were the habits that you put in place to get through that gap to when now you have transaction coordinator, buyer's agent, or at least colleagues that you trust to handle this stuff?
Well, the hard part is my years 2 and 3 were 2020 and 2021. So it was trial by fire. Let's be honest. Like, it was crazy. And those are the years that if I look back, I struggle with the most. But at the same time, they're the years that helped me form what is so important to me. I missed out a lot on those 2 years because you had to see the house in 24 hours and write the offer. And it was bananas, right? I thankfully found Ninja early on, and installations weren't happening because of COVID, and I started coaching with Tona. And she helped me grow that gratitude and affirmations. Y'all, there were seasons of my life that of those critical habits, gratitude and affirmations were all that I was doing. And yet I watched it work in beautiful, amazing ways. Those handwritten notes, being intentional with people. Fast forward to now, a couple of weeks ago, a sweet young mom at church was like, hey, can we grab coffee? And I said, gather your friends, come to my house, let me grind grain and fix you the most amazing waffles you've ever eaten. And let's just do life. Right. And through that day, it was a moment of reflection of like, this is what matters. Being here, loving on these mamas who are raising their first and second babies. You know, one of them looked at me that day and she said, thank you for mothering us today. I didn't know that I needed it. I didn't know that they needed it, but relationship and community matters. And when I run my business with the systems, when I'm filling out my GPS week over week, which Garrett, I haven't sent it to you this week, but it is a benchmark of saying, hey, this is what matters. It matters that I'm up, that I get enough sleep. There's an amazing call I like to be on at 5:30 in the morning. I'm up on Mondays anyway at 4:15 for swim. And so I'm up and I'm on that call and I'm able to say, hey, this is my day right now because I need to sleep so that I'm alive 15 years from now. I feel like I'm not answering your questions. I'm just talking.
No, you're doing great. And I want to go back real quick because you brought up the affirmations. Matt, you brought up mindset. And speaking about affirmations, I know we've done a lot of work with affirmations, and it's kind of a place I go to. And I think a lot of people look at affirmations as like this, well, you're manifesting, you're throwing it out to the universe, you're waiting for the results to happen. And obviously, you've had really good results with affirmations, as I have. I've watched you have great results. Matt gave you a great one early on that you still use today. Tona instilled with Tona Rustine. We love you, Tona. She's so great.
That's amazing.
You know, so we have that. She gave you a platform for that. And I mean, just the other day, we totally reworked. You're sending affirmations to me going, I'm not feeling that this is getting me on the right page right now. What's wrong with it? And we just reworked it, refocused it. And all of a sudden you're like, that's now we're on page. Now we're going the right direction. How have affirmations been for you? And what have you noticed by having good, powerful affirmations around you for guiding you?
If you know the science behind them and energy and all the things, it's when you don't do it, it's like planting a tree and not watering it is the way I look at it. One thing that we worked through, the flip we had to make is my business was first and not my family. My current affirmation has family first. I'm immersed in abundance, fully present with my family while doubling my business. It feels good.
You called me and you're like, what is wrong with this? Like, why is this not working? I said, because your family is so darn important to you and you have the dollar in front of your family and that's all we switch. And you're like that feels so much better. I'm like, there, go.
Yes. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world. And it is the practice. It is the slowing down. It is choosing this matters. It matters that I put my phone over there so that I'm not pulling up Instagram and Facebook to see how many people watched my reel that I just put out last night. It's just a focused attention. And I believe it brings into our places growth and intention. When we can focus on something, we can bring in the recipe. Like when I'm making bread, right? I have to have the flour. I also have to have the baking powder or we're not going anywhere with this bread. And it is all the pieces together that produce the most delicious, rich business, delicious, rich flavor in my food. And mindset is key. If you look at anything in life, Jim Rohn talked about it. The Bible talks about how we take every thought captive, what we focus on. was reading The Gap and the Gain, Energy Bus by John Gordon. Like, y'all, it matters what's in between our ears every day. One thing, the gratitude piece that is so huge to me is, and my girls, I think, get so frustrated sometimes because we talk about this a lot at my house. I will take their hand and say, name 3 things you're thankful for. When we're in panic mode, when we are spiraling in just ugliness, name 3 things you're thankful for. And they used to just roll their eyes and, be teenagers. And now they'll go, Mom, it changes me. I don't know how it works, but it changes me.
Well, I love this with the affirmation and the gratitude practices here, because a lot of people think I need to put more things into my world to make things work. I need to, do more things in my business in order to grow at 100% every single year. And what it sounds like you've built is really kind of guardrails to prevent distractions from coming in, by using affirmations and gratitude so that you can stay focused. Because what Garrett and I know, what the listeners don't yet, is that on the back end of this, there isn't some complex marketing scheme that's driving leads in here or anything. There isn't some, crazy lead magnet or, some amazing connection that's just driving all this stuff in. It's just simple focus on conversations, handwritten notes, talking to your people, loving on your people in the best way that you can. And you're just hyper focused on this. In a few minutes ago, you talked about, avoiding like going out to lunch with realtors and other things like that. And I'm reading this book by Stephen Pressfield called Turning Pro. And it talks about like, when you go from being an amateur to a pro, you start to just focus on the things that doesn't change your time. You just start focusing on the core things that grow in the direction you want to go. And other people might think it's strange, which is weird, because you're doing less, but seeing more success, which is an incredible thing. So tell us about then the little things that you then do that you build off of the gratitude and affirmations. Like, what are the core activities that you focus on to build this database of people who just raise their hand to say, Ada's my person. She's the person I need to go to for real estate.
Baking bread with the mamas around the table in the afternoon. But so yeah, I want to hear this too. I want the listeners to hear what are your core things that you do that make this business work?
It's hard to name them because it's just part of who I am. But it's inviting people into my spaces. I want to be, I have a tattoo on my arm that's like ocean and mountains and trees to remind me to get my stuff done so I can get outside with my people. But the biggest thing is just showing up, whoever I'm in front of, that I am present where my feet are planted. That I'm listening, other than that, there's no special recipe here except for just being super, super intentional to love on people and have good conversations.
So do you set that up by reviewing your database of people, reviewing certain lists? Like, how do you stay focused with that intention on people in your world? Like, and I know it's part of your personality. Like, this existed prior to real estate too. It's not like you're like, hey, I'm going to all of a sudden become the person that invites people. Like, that's been part of your persona. But how do you make sure that you are, writing the note to somebody who needs it, or you are inviting the person over who needs to have that, community time with you?
I am super, super aware of when someone comes to my mind. And I will either call them immediately, and if I don't get them, I will send them a handwritten note. I am aware, I try to not be on social media a ton, but like as people are having big successes or hardship in their life, taking a note, they need a note this week. And as you have picked up on, I'm a woman of faith, and I will sit there like as I'm doing my gratitudes and my affirmations and my prayers and reading my Bible and just be like, okay, Lord, who do I need to talk to this week? Who needs some joy in their life? And I think that's what makes it hard, because it's not just here's step A, B, and C, except it is show up, stay on your agenda, and love people well. And I'm going to hold you off for a second there, Garrett.
I'm waiting. I'm patient.
Okay, I I think it is so important, the words that we use. So I've known Matt a long time, and I finally met both of these gentlemen in Charleston 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But our words matter because, and Matt, I've told you this, but Matt introduced me to Garrett and said, hey, this is Ada. She's an amazing human. And I needed to hear those words, and I didn't even know it. And it has reminded me over and over that the words we speak bring life or death. And so when we are sharing joy with people, when we are calling out the good that we see in those people, we heal a place in them that they didn't even know was broken. That's the intention in which I walk out and live this life. And I'm willing to hang, if life changed tomorrow and I had to hang up real estate, I would do it. I would do it with intention, and I would refer my people out. But that's the choice, because if it comes to it, I'm going to always choose my family. And I'm thankful that I'm thankful that you two have helped me grow to a place to realize it's not A or B. It's a whole piece of the pie together.
So where I was going to go, and by the way, thank you. And I do remember that so clearly when Matt introduced us for the first time, and he did use those exact words. But
I didn't even wasn't even like, I got to prep this great intro. It just is, because that's who you are, Ada. Right. And I think, and I appreciate you sharing that. And even when you did before, when you first told me that, I cried, because I was like, that's incredible. I had no idea that it was that impactful, but you're so right. How we talk about others, even not in their presence, matters for sure. So,
but I want to go back to when you have a referral relationship style business. And I said this before, and I've said it before we even started recording. A key factor in building that relationship is that you have to be genuine. You have to be that at a core. And I know a lot of people want to build a referral relationship business going, I'm making my phone calls, I'm talking to my people, I'm writing my notes, and nobody's given me any business yet. Why am I not getting any business? And the best referral-based businesses is just like, well, no, I'm hanging out with my people. I'm inviting them into my house. I call them when I'm thinking about them. I'm really actually genuinely concerned about who they are and the life they have around me and how they're doing. That has to be a core piece of it, and you embody that. And that's why it was easy for Matt to say that about you when he, introduced you to me for the first time, or vice versa. That it was easy to say that because that's truly who you are. And it's a piece that I think is an element that really, if you want to take a referral relationship business to the next level or grow it, you have to find that in yourself. You have to find that true care and concern for the people around you. So well done. Really well done.
Well, and I think you have to choose to develop it. It's so easy to be distracted in this world. Choosing what you focus on allows you, because it would be very easy to chase dollar signs. I'm so incredibly grateful for the way the Lord has blessed my business. That cannot be my focus or my conversations, or when we're looking at the 20th house, I start getting frustrated, right? Like there's just a dance there. My very first client, y'all, they go to church with us. We volunteered, of course, with the youth group. And they were like, Ada, we want to buy a new house and sell ours, and we only want to work with you. And I was like, okay, like I care so much about this relationship, and I'm awesome, but I'm a brand new baby agent. But they trusted me. And I did from the beginning. I brought in another agent and I said, hey, listen, I'm brand new. I love you, and I will not screw this up. I know that I'm not a master yet. So let's bring in this person alongside us. And I think that's the key in growing in life, is surrounding ourselves with people who call out the best in us and who call out the places that we really need to grow to become better humans and to become better in business and better in life too.
So in that mindset of growing, we talked about this before we started recording, and like kind of you've always been in this place of wanting to grow, wanting to be better. You started off at a brokerage that was your home literally for 6 years, and you love this brokerage. You love what they stand for. You love everything they're about. And you made an amazing decision here just recently to say, you know what? this has been an amazing starting point for my business and my career, my life in real estate. But there's a next stage of growth here. There's a next level here now for you with where you're moving to now with this new brokerage. Tell us a little bit about that transition for you and what made you come to a place. Because, we've mentioned Ninja a couple of times here, and that is a background. That's where we first met, was at a Ninja conference back when Matt and I were involved with that. And that was a piece that helped you kind of say, there's a change that has to happen here. Do you want to share with us a little bit about that journey?
I do. First of all, I have to say, when I found your podcast, I was mowing my back grass. Rob was out of town. And so I would binge listen to you guys every single day. And it's so fun to just watch the progression over the years. And now to be in relationship with both of you the way that I am, it's such a gift. I love it. Yes, I was trying to create a ninja culture at my company, brought an installation last summer, because I preach that all day long. Those processes are phenomenal. And I went to leadership in January, got to meet Peter Partnick, who is delightful. If you haven't read his book, why bother asking? Here's a plug for that, because it's fantastic. But I was going to bring this back to Capstone because I love Capstone and I'm the cheerleader and I love my leadership so much. And as I'm there, I'm fighting it. I'm seeing the chasm of a ninja brokerage and what that looks like, and what this amazing boutique brokerage that now has 300 agents. It's just different. You can't just implement ninja in small pieces or implement relationship businesses in small pieces. And I want to be very careful there because it broke my heart to leave. Garrett prepped me. He's like, you're going to have a moment of, oh my goodness, I've done the wrong thing. I had that moment, let's be honest. But I came to Rosenblum. Michael and I have met for coffee every 3 to 6 months for the past 6 years. It has never been a recruitment conversation. We actually went to high school together. He introduced me to Ninja, and it was always just about growth and communication. And so I traveled with them out to leadership, and over the course of that week, it was like I felt the tug, that's where I was supposed to be. And I say this, it was really a choice of obedience, because I was also, Garrett, as you know, a foot on two sides of a cliff, or you know what I mean? Like a chasm going, I can't continue to show up the way I want to for my family and be the one pouring ninja into everyone else. I needed to plant myself among people who were living that out day in, day out. It's what they did. So I came to a team meeting, and they were doing they did work on skill set, right? Mindset, skill set. There's another one. I can't remember it at the moment, but, sorry.
Action.
Thank you. That's it. And they were working on skill set, and Michael showed a video that I had showed when I was trying to run it there. And he stopped it at the 3-minute mark and started asking questions, as only someone who was walking that out in their everyday life could ask those questions. I need accountability. I need accountability with my diet, with my sleep, with everything in my life. And I was like, okay, I need to be here. And then I went and I talked to my broker, and I came back and told Michael, I was like, it's going to be a minute. I don't think I can leave. And it was this dance, and I'm thankful for leaping when it would have been easier to cling to where I was, because 2.5, 3 weeks in, the blessings that are just abounding from being in the place that I'm at are amazing. And it's growth that I need personally, that is not, it's a choice to grow.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I want to highlight that this decision had nothing to do with splits, had nothing to do with the marketing that they're going to provide you with. It had everything to do with culture. And I want to say kudos to Michael Rosenblum for his methodology in building relationships, because those 6 years he was living the business that he's running by saying, hey, I'm not going to just be here to recruit Ada, even though in the back of his mind, he's probably like, it would be great if this person came over, and probably watching you grow year over year. He's like, this person needs to come over here. But he focused on building the relationship, which is core to the business model that you're practicing. And so kudos to him for deploying that in that facet of the brokerage, which attracted you over. And I think for agents, if you're ever thinking of a switch, which I always recommend, and I know you went through this process too, Ada, of first having every single exhaustive conversation you can where you're at, because it could just be miscommunication, but to look at change based on culture, not based on dollars and cents, because it usually doesn't turn out the way you want if you're just like, well, I can get an extra 5% if I move over here and I can build my downline. Not saying anything about brokerages that have those models there, but if that's the only reason why you're moving, there's a big piece missing. And so kudos to you for going through that whole process, Ada, and focusing on the culture, which now over there, you come back to this, surrounding yourself with the people that help you grow and really focusing on the narrow path that's going to grow you. So how has that now changed as you've gone through it and surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded like you? What has that done to your mindset and your energy that you're deploying in your business today?
I feel like I need to note that I actually have worse splits here than I had at my other brokerage. And it wasn't a piece of the conversation. Like, it was not that conversation, came at the very end, because that's the money side isn't what mattered. And kudos to Michael. He told me, he's like, I'm never going to try to recruit you if you ever choose to make a change. And this was at leadership when I'm starting the conversation. I just want to make sure that you come and talk to us first.
Yeah.
And that I had such respect, because y'all, I get calls all day long. Oh, so-and-so wants to have coffee with you. Well, tell them to call me. And I don't associate with realtors, so sorry. Sorry. I got a little snarky over time with a couple of them. But it is growing. We have weekly team meetings, which I think are phenomenal. One of my biggest pieces is a week ago, we had a horrible thunderstorm here. I have 4 girls at my house. We don't do thunderstorms well. And so I stayed home. And what I love is they send out an agenda for the next day and say, hey, if you need a Zoom link tomorrow, text me. Accountability. And so I texted Carrie and said, hey, yada, yada. I hopped on expecting to just consume. But as they were going around the room sharing a gratitude, okay, Ada, it's your turn. When we're doing market updates and things, okay, Ada, do you have anything that you would like to share today? And for the entire hour and 20 minutes, I might as well have been in the room because I was bought in and a part of that conversation.
Well, I want to give a shout out to your broker also, because you shared with me this kind of moment of the thunderstorms and you then having to go request the Zoom link to Zoom into the sales meeting. And there's so many brokerages out there right now that's like, oh yeah, if you can make it in, great. And here the Zoom link is right here. You can just grab it when you need it, or here's how you're always going to be able to get into that meeting. And then they wonder why they don't have anybody show up to the actual meeting. There's something about that morning having to go, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to email them directly to say, I need the Zoom link. I'm not going to be able to make it in today. Is my excuse good enough? Like, is it good enough that I'm not going to go into the actual meeting? Okay, 4 girls, upset, thunderstorm, going to be mama, going to stay home with them. Yep, easy. I'm sending the email. I want the Zoom link. Let's do it. I respected that so much when you shared that with me, because that level of making people have to show up. We either show up to the meeting or you're going to have to personally ask me for that Zoom link, and I'll give it to you the day of. Oh my gosh, what a simple little thing. Any broker that's listening out there right now, implement that in your office around sales meetings. I guarantee you more people will show up, because nobody wants to have to say, oh, here's the reason I can't show up today. Like,
or at least you'll know the people who are ambitious about showing up. You identify, I think when you just send it out to everybody, and obviously it depends on the size of the brokerage, but you don't know if people are showing up just because they clicked, or if they're not showing up because there's something going on, you get communication by creating a little bit of friction. And the people, because if somebody doesn't show up, you'll probably hear as to why, and it probably would be justified, right? And if people are showing up, the people who are ambitious about, hey, I want to be there, versus, they click in, while they're mowing the lawn and they got their camera off and they're just like, I'm just going to listen to what's going on and just like check the box to say, hey, I was there, right? And so I love that, because you're pulling out who are the players, who are not, and you're better understanding your people just by creating that small little bit of friction, which I think is incredible.
And I think it allows for conversations to happen before you've gone this far, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're catching it early. There was a day I was showing up for one of our calls on 10/10 and I didn't have my camera on because I hadn't washed my hair yet. And it was a hot mess express kind of day. And Garrett texted me and was like, turn on your camera. And I was like, yes, sir. But it was the accountability of, it would have been easy to listen and be doing other things versus being fully present where my feet were planted. And he knows that's important to me. And he's going to call me out real quick because he knows it matters.
I wrote that line down, be present where your feet are planted, earlier when you said it. I love that line so much. It made me start to sit here and go, I need to start collecting the quotes from all of you, things that I've learned over the years, and just start making a master list of all these wonderful quotes, because that's a good one. I love that. Be present where your feet are planted.
It is a mantra for me of, I'm not great at this, but I'm really trying. If someone is talking to me, even if I'm mid-text, which I'm trying to train my kids to like, give me a second to finish, I put it down and I make eye contact, because that is where our world is suffering so much, is our distractibility and people not feeling seen and heard. And if we can make a small, tiny move to adjust in our own selves just to convey that to someone else, it's life-changing.
Yeah. And as a leader, whether you're leader by name of being a manager or broker, or leader because you're present in a space with people and they learn from this, having that and deploying that, and then requiring the people around you to do that as well, whether it's by saying, hey, turn your camera on, or just by waiting until somebody makes eye contact with you to highlight the importance of it, particularly in today's digital world. For the brokers out there that are running Zoom meeting and you're like, why is, seems like I just see names and all this stuff. Accountability, as you said, Ada, like have people like tell it, hey, turn this on, because if you're letting them, they're doing their email, they're somewhere else, they're looking at Instagram, they're not present in that meeting, which means everything that you're doing is not going to be worth it anyway, right? And so when you have that, and you're right, Ada, the connection is so important. And same thing if you're having conversations with buyers and sellers. A lot of times people, we'll just default to the phone. We'll just default to text. And I get that in terms of if we have something that's urgent and we need speed can certainly win out at some points. But when we need that presence, don't skip going to somebody's house or having a Zoom meeting with cameras on and really connecting with people, because it's going to make a huge difference. I would imagine this is how you deploy it with your people and your processes, right?
It is. Well, and I think it is, I want to highlight again how important it is that when someone comes to your mind, that you stop and you make a phone call, or you shoot a text, or you make a note to send a letter. Those have happened to me. I called someone very dear to me now just to wish a Merry Christmas, and didn't know that they were going through hell in their personal life. And I found out about it 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
And that person also in turn called me on a day where, when we were renovating our house, somebody had stolen $20,000 from us that was supposed to go to cabinets. He had no idea. I had just found out, and he called. And so it's just the energy that connects us all is amazing. And I think we shoot ourselves in the foot. We shoot ourselves from a business perspective, or how we can grow personally, when we don't just sit back and be aware of everything going on around us.
Yeah.
Great point. Very good point.
Well, I have a question for you, and I didn't say I was going to ask this or go down this path, but you got a hold of me earlier yesterday, kind of going, is it okay if we talk about Ninja? And I want to just circle back to this just for a second, because we have so many people in our world. I mean, I ran and operated the coaching program for what, I don't know, 20 years, give or take, maybe a little bit less, year or so. I have so many people that I know from that world over there, and you are one of the ones that bridge that gap, that still fully believe in Ninja, which we love because it's an amazing selling system. It's an incredible platform, but also came and hang out with us over in Life at 10 Tenths. And I feel like a lot of people I have to make I have to choose one or the other. I have to go this way with them, or I have to stay over here and do this over here. And I would love to hear from your perspective, bridging these two sides and being able to embrace both sides. Has this been a conflict for you in any way, shape, or form? Has it been able to raise the bar of what you're doing? And I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but I think it's important that the listeners who are feeling that have an understanding about kind of what this has all been.
No, there's no tension there. I feel like they complement each other so beautifully. And I'm going to say this, and I hope I'm saying this well. The way that I have taken the jump from what was amazing and wonderful and I love to a brokerage that is calling me higher and deeper rooted, there's the difference. Ninja is still amazing. I still lean into those systems. We go through Ninja U videos at our meetings all the time. I will still go to more leaderships. I will go to more installations. I've been to 4. They grow me in beautiful ways. And I've told you both this. I text them literally every time we get off a coaching call that I'm on. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. Because it is the intention in which you guys have grown Life at 10 Tenths and the 11th circle. So there's layers of how committed you want to be here. It has made me, the conversations we're having in those mastermind calls and in those group coaching sessions, and when I can show up to when we're just sitting there on Zoom together, knocking out our stuff, it calls me to a higher standard for myself. And it's like having the best experience and then like at the beach and then like the dolphins show up and give you an amazing show. If that makes sense. I love dolphins. I love the ocean.
Dolphins?
You're the dolphins. Or you're like the whale shark at the Atlanta Aquarium that I love so much. But it is that, and I hope I'm okay to talk about this. There is a special mastermind that's strictly for one-on-one coaching clients with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all. That hour spent once a month, I would like to see it be 2 or 3, but I won't be pushy.
We've had many requests. Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Like we break up and the accountability and the growth that happens in those breakout rooms calls me to a higher standard. We were talking about quarter 1, what we did well, what we didn't, what we're taking into quarter 2 last week. And I mentioned that we were all wrestling with, hey, when I get my GPS done, it sets the course for my week. It helps me not very far too far off course. Somebody texted me Monday morning, hey, did you get yours done yet? And there's relationship being built with people all over the country, maybe the world. I know we're all in the US, I think. But those breakout groups are different. I'm developing relationships. I grew as much as Garrett loves AI. There was a guy in my group who loved it even more. And we were all just scribbling notes and growing from each other. Matt and I have been on a call with each other for years at this point with a group that when I have big decisions to make, these are the people I'm coming to ask their advice and their accountability in. And I think it matters, if you are in a place where it's almost like a desert, maybe you have an office that you don't fit in well, you have no excuse when these amazing options are out there to lean into and to grow. And whether that's Ninja and installations, their Ninja U videos are awesome. Don Tennyson is precious to me. Peter Partnick is precious to me. Dennis, it's all one big happy family. And I feel like almost hamstring yourself if you feel like you have to choose between the two.
Well, and I really appreciate you sharing that, because we have a lot of people that have taken that journey with us, coming to build life at 10 tenths and be on this ride with us. And it's interesting where I've had lots of conversations where people, again, feel like they have to pick one or the other. And I love it when all of you have been on this journey with us, and there's no like, oh, I have to let that go behind me to go on this ride with Garrett and Matt. It all works hand in hand. It all goes in the right direction. And so I really appreciate you sharing that.
I want to share something else with you. Yesterday, I was talking to my competitive swimmer, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be on this podcast tomorrow. You know, it's Matt and Garrett and Life at 10 Tenths. And she was like, what kind of a name is that? She's 13, y'all. And I told her, I was like, well, they both love racing, and it's about going, you know, peak, because if it's raining on the track, you might can only go out at 4 or 5. And this is living tenaciously, chasing excellence. And she was like, oh, just like me in the pool swimming. And I was like, yes, just the way you fuel your body, you sleep well, and you tenaciously pursue what you want in this life. That's what this group is for me.
I love it. Yeah, when you go swim at 10 tenths, that's when you set records.
I love that. I mean, and thank you for sharing all that, Ada. What a fun perspective on all of that stuff too. Because I think it comes down to people, right? Who you surround yourself with. That morning call you talked about, by the way, anybody can join that. That's totally free. You just have to wake up early in the morning. So you can message Ada if you want to learn about it. You can message me if you want to learn about it too. It would be like 3:30 a.m. your time, Garrett. So Pacific, if you're on the Pacific,
message me.
You probably not going to want to jump into it.
But we have a girl in Colorado who is up at 4:30.
Yep. She's taking, and we don't, there's no cameras on, you know, at that time in the morning. We do go around and share gratitude though. So Ada, like if someone's listening to this, they're like, man, you know, I want to be more intentional in my business. Maybe they're new, maybe they're 30 years in, but they just feel like they've been on this hamster wheel of like, my business owns me, you know, and like, hey, I'm doing 30 deals a year. Like I'm doing 20 or 15 and I feel like I'm just owned by my business. What would be your advice to them to shift from, and knowing that it's not going to happen overnight, but to shift from being owned by their business to owning their business and running it with intentionality?
Fun fact about me, if I drink a quart of water when I first wake up in the morning, I will crave water all day long. If I drink coffee or an energy drink, which I'm trying to stop, I have to fight to drink water all day long. And so where that doesn't sound like advice, it is an intentional piece of when you are seeking out growth, when you are seeking out ways to be relational with people. John Gordon's books, I think, are phenomenal. The Energy Bus puts it all into perspective very, very well. Surround yourself with people who are growing the way you want to. You want to call and talk to me? Call me. Reach out to me on Instagram. Like, let's chat and grow together. And just show up. I think naming what matters in your life and then choosing to walk that out day in and day out is where the magic happens. To ask people, one thing I love about coaching is you've got my 6. You are looking and seeing things that are coming at me that I'm not even aware of yet. And you're prepping me for them so that when they hit, I'm like, oh, Garrett told me this would happen. All right, I'm not blown over. I've dug in and I'm pushing through. And I think anything in life that's worth having is worth that relentless pursuit. And so it's choosing. I was up late with a kid last night and fell asleep in their bed and I didn't get up and do my gratitudes and affirmations. Where are they fitting in today? Mm-hmm. And being able to look at it and say, hey, today I did these things really well. And I really sucked over here. What can I do tomorrow to bring this back into alignment with my values and my goals and my beliefs?
That's perfect. It's great advice. I love that. Well, and you mentioned Instagram. So where can people find you if they do want to reach out?
It's Ada_Handley. That's probably the best place to reach out. I have a private account because I'm raising 4 kids. So I might vet you for a second before I let you into my world. I might follow you first. But you can reach out there. My email is also ada@adahandley.com. I will never own a company email again. I'm just going to say it. You can make your own on Gmail. I'm going to have a hello@adahandley before long, but again, that's a marker I've put in the sand of that is how I own and brand my business, even though I work for a broker.
I love that. That's a good point. Because before we started recording, we talked about, business a little bit, like brokerage versus being an agent, like who owns this business? How do we do that? So I like that. That's a nice little tidbit there for people to take away. So
you are
that.
the brand. You are the brand, Ada. And that is the reason you are as successful as you are, is people want to come work with Ada. That's what this is about. So good for you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time to be with us today and sharing your story. And I know there are people out there that need to hear what you shared today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ada, for coming on.
All the way from cutting grass in the backyard with you, 4 years ago, to now you're on the... What a great journey.
It's a Cinderella story. Anything can happen. I do like to cut the grass because no one can talk to me while I cut the grass, but that's an aside.
That's a great point. I got to get back to cutting the grass.
Yes. It's not one of those things to hire out. You cut your own grass.
Well, Ada, thank you so much for joining us, sharing your story, and thank you everybody for listening in. If you want to learn more about what we're doing and be as involved as Ada is in all of the different things that we can do to be alongside you on your journey, go to lifeat10tenths.com. You can learn about our starter membership, the 11 Circle, our group coaching program, and also one-on-one. If you want to work individually with Garrett or myself, that is an option as well. You can reach out to us through there, or you can reach out to Garrett and I directly. There's links in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, there's links below there that you can go. And if you are on YouTube, definitely drop a comment on what you took away from this episode and Ada's story. Because one, we love to read that stuff and see what you guys are getting out of this. And it also helps boost the visibility so that we can get this message out to more people so that we can help more people grow. And that's what we're all about here at Life at 10 Tenths. So appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And if there's anything that we can do for you, even outside of that, just reach out to us and we'll figure out how we can help or help you in the right direction to find whatever it is that you're looking for. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. Ada, thanks so much again for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ada.